but will play a great part in the textbook definition of the influence relationship that's among leaders and followers, that is within our definition of a leader. This brings up conflict dynamics. In the new paradigm, conflict dynamics is a natural and a healthy part of an organization. This was not always the case. It used to be that the people that moved into positions were those that created the least amount of conflict. Today's world, we are asking our followers and our leaders to question each other and to have a certain amount of organized, healthy conflict that allows us to solve problems for each other. Often leaders have a shared purpose, but different cultural ways of getting to the achievement of that purpose. In order to achieve this shared purpose, compromises and understandings must occur. Leadership, as opposed to management, is open to these compromises and understandings. A good example of this is everyone would like for world poverty to end, to be alleviated. In India, the Grameen Bank has brought microfinancing to impoverished and be globally ostracized. If they did not have an understanding of the socioeconomic conditions and gender roles of women in Indian society, the success that Grameen Bank has had would not have been possible. For the many women in India that are now contributing to India's economy and their families' well-being, but also contributing to alleviating and helping India's poorest people. So hopefully I've given you an idea of, in the past, what leadership has meant, and in today, how it is different. Hopefully the definition of a leader is clear. First, it implies that there are human relationships involved in management or leadership or in organizations of any type. And this relationship is between leaders and followers, and that relationship, these relationships must be understood personally and culturally. Second, it implies that for shared purposes to be achieved, and thus change to be made, that the people who understand these relationships and help to achieve these shared purposes are using the skills of leadership, and that makes them leaders. A leader, in my words, is one who affects change for the benefit of just more than him or herself by understanding those that he or she is affecting. So this fall, I got the opportunity to, while working with the Dunes Learning Center in northern Indiana, I was there training other naturalists that were coming in to the fall season. I got to do an internship there this summer, and so they asked me back to help train their new people. And two of their naturalists were from Africa. One was from Nairobi and one was from Cameroon. And both of these individuals work at their national parks. And so they're working with the Dunes Learning Center at the Indiana Dunes National Park to just kind of learn what we do and then take that back home with them and hopefully apply some of what they've learned. Aside from their thick accents that made them hard to understand, and I thought, well, what would be the best way to train them, to kind of adjust them to American culture? And I quickly realized that that was not the best way to go. The upper management was of the Dunes Learning Center. That's their job, is to keep their standards, their vision, so that the new naturalists from Africa can kind of get assimilated and learn what the Dunes Learning Center is all about. Me as a trainer and someone with more experience, a leader at the Dunes Learning Center, I thought, well, maybe I should learn more about these naturalists. And so instead of trying to just jump in and assume that I'm their teacher, I really looked to be their student. And through that dialogue and conversation that took place, they learned from me as much as I learned from them, and quite possibly I learned a lot more from them. And a lot of the reservations that I had about them being able to adjust, and the children that visit the Dunes Learning Center being able to adjust to these foreign naturalists, were alleviated just by seeing and learning from them and making that adjustment myself. So, if I could change anything within the Purdue OLS course on global leadership, it would be that there was really no outside cultural interaction in class. We had some cultural differences within class, mainly gender and age differences, but ultimately those differences aren't that big. Those differences really don't put you face to face with conflict that can be resolved and examined. And I feel that if we would have been given the opportunity to do some type of group project with students from another country, from a completely different culture, that we could have achieved two things. Two things: we could have actually stirred that conflict that is healthy and often found within transitions and the global leadership environment, and that we could have worked through that and been able to really examine how we felt. And I also feel that to do that and work with students from another country, we would have had to pick up extra technological skills that we didn't possess. It's very commonplace to have workspaces online where students can, or people in general, people in their workplace can meet and exchange ideas and work on projects. A lot of these skills will be required of us in the future when we graduate, but presently there's no technological skills required for OLS students outside of learning Word and PowerPoint. I feel that this is the biggest failure of most of the OLS curriculum in general, and it's not really a failure as much as I feel it's an opportunity that hopefully one day technology skills will be incorporated more into the classrooms, and that we can use these technologies to help facilitate the knowledge at the high level that we're already learning. So, I appreciate your time today, and I hope you've enjoyed this dialogue and hope you've learned a little bit about the OLS Global Leadership class, and I encourage you to get more involved with your OLS classes and teachers, and hopefully someday I get to meet you. Thank you for your time and have a good day.